and welcome back to another episode of Bantz with Lawrencia on Lawrencia TV, a channel that celebrates ordinary people doing extraordinary things. So please subscribe, like, share, and also click on that notification bell to get notified anytime I post new content. So I have very good news today. Bantz with Lawrencia is now available on all your favorite podcast platforms, so you could be jogging, running, driving, and listening to this lovely voice. Also, please tune on YouTube or my YouTube channel, Lawrencia TV, to get all this gorgeousness. Like, who wants to miss this adorable face? So please subscribe to my podcast, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and let us get this ball rolling. So for today's topic, I want to talk about balancing risk and reward when you're investing in the village. Yes, I know Igbo people, they've left the charts. Literally, some of them are sitting up now looking at me and being like, okay, what is she talking about? Well, pipe down. Let's go through this together. So this topic is inspired by Nollywood actress Eukarya Nunobi. So Eukarya made a post on her social media page. She talked about people going to the villages to build mansions. I mean, not just houses, but mansion in the village where they visit maybe once or twice a year, and it's not even their retirement home, because most of them don't even retire to the village. So they build these houses. The houses are under lock and keys. Nobody lives in these houses, and these houses become too massive to maintain, especially when they are older, and their children in turn, none of them is going to retire in the village, because they also have their own dreams, aspirations, and what they want to do or where they want to live their lives. So all these mansions, sometimes they rot away and nobody lives in them. So according to Eukarya, she was saying that instead of building mansions in the village where you're going to visit once or twice a year, why don't you build something in the city, an estate, or affordable, houses where people can rent and live, and then you're going to make things out of that. I understand where Eukarya is coming from. I understand that sometimes we want to show that we're successful. We want to show our roots that we're successful, and how people do that is basically building mansions in the village. Because if you're very successful, I am an Igbo person, I firsthand I understand this. If you're living in the city and you're very successful, and then you come back to the village and you build a hut, people are going to be like, oh, I thought they said she is successful, but look at what she's built. So I think that always plays at the back of people's mind when they are building these mansions in the village. So this post generated different conversations online. Some people felt, well, it is their money. Nobody should tell anybody what to do with their money. Nobody should tell anybody where to build or buy a house. It is their choice where they want to build a house. It is their choice if they want to build a mansion or if they want to build a small, affordable house where people rent. So other people felt, well, these are the same people that when something happens, they start blaming village people. They start blaming one old woman. They start blaming, different neighbors in the village for putting black magic on them. Somebody gave example of, Mr. A and Mr. B. I'm not going to mention the names. So these two people are business partners, working together, and they were successful, doing investment and making money out of it, sharing the profit 50-50. And Mr. A decided to use his money to, they were living in the same city. Mr. A bought a house in that city and invested, gave the wife money to start up a business, and made other investments while still getting money from the business that they were doing. Mr. B, on the other hand, saved all his money, went to the village, built a massive mansion in the village while still renting in the city, even resorted to massive arguments between the wife, because the wife was like, we should get a place where we are, because what if something happens and we don't even have a place where we're staying, and you're taking all this money to go to the village to build this house, that you should look at your friend Mr. A, who actually secured the property for them, bought another house where tenants are living, and actually started up something for the wife. Mr. B felt, well, I am not Mr. A. I cannot do what Mr. A has done. It is my choice to invest my money whatever way I want to invest it. Along the line, something happened to the business, and businesses normally goes up and down. And one of the lowest moments of their business, they decided to fold up that it wasn't worth the stress. While Mr. A has saved rent from where the rent that they were paying was getting money from the property he bought, plus the investments that the wife made. So money was extra. There were like different sources of income coming in. Now Mr. B does not have that. What he had was the house in the village. Now after that source of income ended, went back to the village and started running around, that one old woman looked at him funny, and then the other old man hugged him while he was dancing. So there must be something they put in his body that made him lose his business and made it very difficult for him to bounce back to his feet. While Mr. A has gone on with his life, started another business, and was still making money, not as much as they were making before, but Mr. A was okay while Mr. B flatlined. So this is a very a good example why sometimes before. Nobody's saying don't invest. Nobody's saying don't buy a house in the village. Nobody's saying it is a bad investment. It is a good investment. For me, I don't think this post is talking about people who have enough investments where they are. If you have the money, like, you can't really tell Otedola not to have a vacation house in Dubai, Paris, Milan, and even in the Caribbean. You can't tell him not to do that because he has the money. He has multiple sources of income. I think what Eukarya is trying to say is, if you haven't attained that financial freedom, the best thing for you to do is to build something modest in the village, and then ensure that you're investing money into things that can benefit you. And she also mentioned that, yes, even if you have that money to build all those mansions in the village, you could easily build something for where people can live at a subsidized rate. So some people have done all these things. Some people have built houses where people stay for free. Some people have affordable homes where they are subsidized for people to live in. So we're not talking about those who have different sources of income. They are very successful in their own right. I think what Eukarya is trying to say is, if you have one source of income and you're still trying to find your footings, it's not the best thing to do for you to bury your money in the village, building a house where you visit once or twice a year, and then go back to a city or where you're based and you don't have a house there and you're still renting and all those kind of things. So I think the bottom line is, let's try make better decision that will suit us in terms of investing and growing our investment. Sometimes it's just about the choices that we make. Sometimes people blame village people, they blame village people for everything, but most of these things are just bad choices, bad investments. The point here is doing things that tailoring things that suit us at different level in life. So if you see somebody, sometimes we just want to copy people, and that is the dangers that we, this generation, we face at the moment. You see somebody who they might be your age mate, and they build a mansion in the village, and the next thing you want to do is the first money that comes into your hand, you want to build a mansion, not realizing that that person may have been on level 10 while you're on level 2. So if you're judging yourself based on somebody, you're on level 2, and you're judging yourself based on somebody's level 10, then you're going to run into problems. You're going to even have more problems than you ever think you would have. So I know my mom is watching. I am not saying don't build house in the village. I am not saying I'm not going to build house in the village. That is not my point. My point is we just, we have to be okay on our own, have multiple streams of income to ensure that even if one thing stops, we're still going to be getting money from different sources. And even if we're going to build those mansions in the village and they are under lock and key, we're going to be okay wherever we are in terms of managing life however you see it. So the long and short story is, we should build houses in the village, but we should also look at affordability, how we are able to maintain these houses. If you're going to retire in those houses and you're building 3-story building, are you going to just stay in one room in that house? How is that going to play out when you're 70, 80? And I think these are the things that we should have in mind. Somebody gave an example of their parents building a massive mansion in the village. They have tennis courts, swimming pool, different things, and when it was time to retire, they couldn't even stay in the house because the cost of maintaining that property was just too much for their pension to carry. And because the house was in the village, they couldn't even sell it. So what they did was just to get different people at some point. And when you don't even maintain such structures, what's going to happen. The building will start falling apart, and building that is supposed to last, you look at that house and you're thinking, what happened? Because nobody is there. So I think that is the point that Yukira is trying to make. Build houses wherever it is your money, build houses wherever you want to build it, and ensure that you're also investing. Ensure that you're also getting return for your investment. So thank you very much for watching today's episode. I hope you like it. If you disagree with me for any reason, please leave me comments in the comment section. Let me know your opinion. This is my opinion. This is my point of view, and I'm happy to hear your opinion and your own point of view. So thank you very much. Make sure you subscribe to my podcast, Bantz with Lawrencia, across all podcast platforms. So thank you very much, and see you same time next week. Bye bye.